Hi, I'm Jason. I'm going to show you what's needed to start, run, and optimize your print-on-demand business with Printify. Let's go. One of the biggest problems I hear about is people don't know where to start, and there's just so much information being thrown at them in widely different directions. I just want to say that it's okay to be overwhelmed. Everybody is at the beginning. And to make things easier for you, I'm going to explain things step by step in a clear and organized manner in this video about Printify. How does Printify work? Printify is the middleman that connects you with manufacturers. That's all they are. They handle the payment, the transactions, as well as providing any customer service to you, not your customer, when a manufacturer makes a mistake. So why use them instead of any other print-on-demand provider that takes care of everything? Well, let's find out. Well, a big reason is you have more suppliers to choose from. Printify has more than 80 suppliers in the US and another 70 overseas. And all these manufacturers have their own individual offerings of different features, value-added services, and competitive advantages. And best of all, these suppliers are forced to compete for your business. This results in quality products at reasonable prices and ever-changing features and offerings. So Printify works differently because it's just a middleman than pretty much any other service I could think of. So I just want to break it down nice and simple for you. The way it works is somebody will come to your Etsy, Shopify, or any other store you're hosting your products on. And once they make the purchase, Printify will notify the manufacturer of what to make and where to send it. The manufacturer wants to get paid. So what they're going to do is charge you the cost of the item plus shipping plus any other extras attached to the purchase, like gift messages. Plus, Shopify and Etsy will also charge you fees as well. This means you have to have a debit or a credit card with enough funds to cover all of these costs. Printify will then take the purchase price minus all of the expenses, and that's your profit. And they'll pay you about 2 to 3 weeks after the end of each calendar month. So let's break this down into a simple example. Let's say you're selling a mug on your Etsy store for $10, but the mug itself plus shipping will cost you $9. Printify would deduct that total $9 and you get a net of $1. That's your profit. And you'll receive that $1 2 or 3 weeks after the month ends. This is for normal Printify, but if you have Printify PopUp, Printify PopUp is different than normal Printify because they do not charge you for every product you sell. Printify handles everything. With this arrangement, you're more like a freelance salesperson to them, and you're paid on the 15th of every month. The main difference is with Printify PopUp, they take care of the processing, the printing, the shipping, the returns, and all the customer support. The main difference between PopUp and normal Printify is it's a lot faster to set up. There's no Etsy or Shopify integrations. There's no subscription or listing fees, and it's really made for beginners. Now we've picked Printify as our POD. What should we sell? Well, on there, they have a catalog menu, and in their catalog, they have a best sellers. These are all the hot in-demand items from across the web of everybody who uses Printify for their POD. That means it's grabbing data from eBay, Etsy, and Shopify, and more. That means these are the hot trending items, but also means everyone else has access to this. So there's going to be a lot of competition for them. So if you want to get a jump on a competition, in their catalog, they also have early access. Using their early access catalog will show you their newest products, which means there'll be less people selling them, but there comes a caveat with that. That means you're going to have to create your own mockups, but it is a simple way to stay ahead of your competition. As you can see from their catalog, they have a plethora of different things they sell, from men's and women's clothing, kids, food, electronic accessories. It's endless, right? So what if you want to sell a bunch of different things? Should you create your own shop for each different niche? Well, you don't have to. You can if you want. It won't have any negative effect in any way. But it is advisable if your brand position is kind of the same. So say you're goth and everything's goth, you could do men's and women's. It doesn't matter. But if you're goth, but then you do all Barbie as well, that type of thing, it might be better to have those separate. Other than that, keep them all in one store and see if it works. If it doesn't, you can always split them. It makes no harm or foul if you do that. All right, so now that we're in Printify's dashboard, let's jump into the fun things. We could get into sightings and stuff after we start looking into designing and developing actual products. So as I mentioned before, if we go to catalog and click on best sellers, that's where we're going to find that Gildan 5000 t-shirt. So I'm going to go with that one because white, black, or navy t-shirts are the most popular. So this page here is going to show us all about the Gildan 5000 t-shirt. It says how it's made. It's 100% cotton. These are there for photos to kind of give you a better design idea of what your design will look like on males or females. It also has over here what the tag looks like. So it does actually have a tag. Some people don't like them because they could be itchy. And then it has for the price, this is how much the lowest would be. But if we go down here, this is where it comes into the supply part. These options are all if you use Printify Choice. Now, all Printify Choice means they're going to do all the selecting and all of the supplier for you. That sounds great because it makes things nice and simple and streamlined for you, and that's why they're doing it. In the past, they used to make it you do it manually choosing your supplier. But if you're doing it by their choice, you have to trust they're doing it right. I don't want to put all my eggs in their basket right now, so I'm going to go choose manually, and this is where I choose what supplier. Each supplier, as I mentioned before, they have to compete for your business, and they have to do that by doing high quality work at a reasonable price. So just a pro tip for you guys, the two you'll hear most about on the internet are Monster Digital and Swift POD. Those are the two most popular ones that are US based. So as you can see, their prices are slightly different, about 7 cents, but this is all information about each supplier, their shipping costs, how long it takes them to produce something. This one's 1.2 average days. Where you can print. You can print on all these different spots. So the neck label, if you want to get rid of the tag, that's this neck label. The sizes they will make, these are all the colors. So they have less colors than Swift POD, only by 7. So if you're looking at Monster Digital, they offer bulk discounts. They have branded inserts. They have gift messages they'll also include. But if you click on provider info, this has more of a breakdown of what shirts and colors they have for their prices. If you notice, Printify Premium is slightly less. It's about $2.03 less per shirt. So if you sign up for Premium, I'll get into that later, you get a discount. These are the colors they offer. And where'd it go? They're all in stock. So I was trying to find one that's out of stock. Let's see if we do it based on size. There we go. So for 5XL, one of them, which is Carolina Blue, is out of stock. So as you see, most of them, I would say 99.999% are all in stock. And usually that's the case of Monster Digital. Usually everything's always in stock. That's why people like them. If we go shipping, these are how many days it takes to ship it on average. Your first item, that's how much it costs. Every additional item, say somebody buys 2 t-shirts, it's $3.99 plus $2.09. If this is express delivery, this is all for the US, then you have Canada, the rest of the world, Australia. Production, this is how they actually make it. So it's direct to film, that's what DTF stands for. And a DTG, if you see that, it's direct to garment. The other quality control. And most importantly, this packaging is how they actually arrive at your customers. So it's just this polyurethane plastic thing. If you don't like that, unfortunately, that's the only way really they send things. If somebody buys a lot of things, it'll come into a high quality box. That's what corrugated means. But unfortunately, that's it. So it doesn't look that great. But pretty much everybody sells them like this. The branding tab is the extra stuff you can include with your products, like an insert. So you can say thank you to anybody who buys something. That's a nice personal touch you can have with your customers to create a connection. Another way to outcompete against your competitors. As I mentioned before, you have the neck labels, so getting rid of the tags, which most people like, and just have your brand printed right there. This gives you professionalism and customization to every product you sell, so it's not like every other product out there. There's also the gift message. So if your customers buy something as a gift for somebody else, your customer could have a message in there for that person, and you could do that based on your store settings. So that's a nice thing about Monster Digital, that they include something like this. Not all the suppliers do. All right, so I'm going to go with Monster Digital and start designing my t-shirt. As you can see it down at the bottom, they're the front, back, both sleeves, and the inner neck label. The only thing that's free is the front. Everything else costs extra. So unfortunately, they don't tell you that here, but that's the case. But before we start designing, I just want to show you on the right side, we have the variants. So if you click on this little pencil ruler, it gives you the variants. And you can select which ones you need or want. And you could get really into the weeds here. So if you click see details, these are the prices for all the different colors. And if you do it based on size, through the drop down, you can select which sizes you want per color. So it gets really into the weeds, but I recommend at first just starting out the top 3 most popular colors if you want, or top 5. Top 3 again are white, black, and navy. Just go with those ones. When you're creating your variants, keep things simple for you and your customers. If you want to be really simple, you could just do black and white. Those are the classic colors, right? Okay, now that we have our colors and sizes picked out, we want to actually design the logos and graphics of the shirt. Printify has their own in-house graphic design thing. So you could add text through this one, you could add graphics, if you want to save templates, they're here. You can use even AI if you want. The other option is what most people do is just use Canva. Canva is a great design tool that most people use for thumbnails on YouTube, or their Etsy shirts, whatever. So in Canva, you just go to create, and then you could type in shirt and then t-shirt. So you click on it, and it allows you to start designing your shirt. So say I just want to use this guy. This is one I used, but I got rid of this son and I changed the text. So this is what my shirt looks like, and I'm going to use this one. So you just download it, and you go back into Printify, and right here you have upload, my device, wherever you save it. Click on your thing, and there you go. Now these dots surrounding it are the print area. So you want to put it right in there so it fills it up and drag it. Now if you notice it's not filling it completely, these are going to rotate it. You don't want to stretch it out. So if I want to fill this all the way and go to the right, it's going to look stretched. You don't want that. It doesn't look good, right? So you want to center it with those red lines to get right in the middle. And then these are all the informations remembered at 14 by 18 logo size. So that's what this is. And you could do different colors with different logos and looks. Say you want this background, say it's green on a green shirt, you can make it black or white. This way you have a good looking shirt per color and even size. On, I believe, XL and XXL, your images start getting stretched out because your logo is based on small to large. They'll scale. So if it's a small shirt, this will get smaller. If it's a larger shirt up to large, your logo and the graphic design looks bigger. So once you're ready, you hit Save Product. I just wanted to stop the video over here and mention ceramic mugs and stickers. When you're designing your ceramic mug, add your logo to both sides. It doesn't cost any extra, and people love seeing their design when they're taking a drink. It's better to have it on both sides. It just looks better. Also, make sure your supplier ships with styrofoam to protect the mugs instead of just a cheap paper box. But keep in mind, only certain suppliers do that. And when they do ship it, they only ship in styrofoam. There's no box. This is why it's important to order a sample first and see what your customers will experience. This way there's no surprises. Regarding stickers, the actual size of the sticker will be smaller than the dimensions stated. The dimensions are just for the backing of the sticker, not the actual piece that sticks to things. And if you don't look at stickers, kiss cut is when they only cut through the vinyl and not the paper backing. This makes them easier to peel. It keeps them better protected, especially during shipping. The other popular cutting method is die cut. This is where they cut all the way through both the vinyl and paper backing. This makes them look great when they're not even applied to sculpting. And they're especially good to do it this way if you're going to do a farmer's market, artisan's market, anything where people are going to have an in-person, hands-on experience with them, because it feels like an item into itself instead of a sticker waiting to be applied to something. Now that we have our design done, it's time for mockups. Mockups are used to visually sell our products, and we want them to be as attractive as possible, especially to our target market. And these plain white backgrounds just aren't going to do. So if we go to view all mockups and go through the wizard, so these are all the mockups we could use, the different demographics of people, and the size chart as well. If we want to do it based on type, we have the front of the shirt, back, and all these different kinds as well. These are the ones they're providing us we can use. They have 2 of the back, 2 of the front, which is weird, right? So we're going to delete them. We just have the front and back. Now, if you want to use a person, you can totally go ahead and do that. So if I want to use this guy and this girl to say that this is a unisex shirt that's used for anybody, we can do that. We could also upload our own, and I'll show you how you can do that. So if you want to get one from Etsy, to get the mockups of whatever you're selling, you just type in exactly what it is with mockups at the end. And these are all the ones people have made that we can use to sell our shirt. These are a one-time buy, so about $5 or less, and we can use them for as many times as we want. The other option is use Placeit. Placeit is the top mockup generator on the internet, and have it now built right into Printify to make things nice and easy. The only issue with Placeit is they require a subscription. It's about $8 a month. So let's go check them out. This is their website, and this is everything they offer. As you can see, there's just so much we can use, and it's got different life cycles. So if you want to be cool smokers, I guess you could do that. They have transparent backgrounds, different demographics of people, anything you pretty much want. So if you're going to get serious, I highly recommend looking into getting the Placeit subscription. These are the ones we're going to go with. And we hit save. And it brought them in. Now this is the primary one. We don't want that. We want to have this one. So we click the star, and now this is the main one, because ours is unisex and we don't want to show just a guy or just a girl. When it comes to your title and description, you want to make sure they're keyword heavy that result in your products appearing in customer searches. Most important words should be first. Think like your customers. What would they be searching for in Etsy or Google, right? You can also check Etsy and other marketplaces for keyword ideas. Just ignore any that say ad, because those people are paying to be there. So it doesn't mean their keywords are good. And remember, anything you see, do not copy directly. Just be inspired and use it as a template to run with. And when it comes to the description, especially, you don't want to worry about having everything in here. It is important to have important information, but most people do not read these. The size table is very good. They might read that, but they would rather have it as part of the mock-up as an image. Most people are visual, and they like to do things fast and not read. So don't put too much emphasis on your description. Just make sure it covers your butt, whatever you need it to be. When it comes to pricing, don't overthink this either. Just make sure you cover all your expenses, such as Printify, shipping costs, Etsy, and Shopify fees, then add a little bit more to get your profit. you want to aim for 15 to 30% profit margin. And if you think customers want lowest price, they don't. They want what they want when they want it. So convenience is more important. As long as you have a reasonable price, they'll pay it. Put more effort into researching your products, your brand positioning, marketing, product displays, as well as pricing games like with coupons and discounts. Don't play the lowest pricing game like Walmart and Amazon. It's not fun, and it'll make it much harder for you to value your time and energy. Before I move on, I just want to mention that for prices, XL and double XL have a higher print cost. So when you do your pricing, increase the prices on those ones or don't offer them as well, because we're going to cut into your profit margin. Next up is personalization. This is new. Printify now allows you to have customers write specific things, like we'll say their initials on their mugs if they want that. Read up about it. It's a brand new thing. I think it might be good, but it's off by default. So in order to enable it, just hit the slider. We're all set setting up our product. Now it's time to connect our store. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do Etsy and Shopify. So we click Connect Store. These are two most popular ones. I got a gut feeling TikTok might be coming around, but let's do Etsy first. All I do is sign in. Once you're signed in, you grant access to Printify, and then you click Publish Your Products. So when you click Connect Store, all we did was actually connect the Etsy store. We didn't actually do anything with the product itself. So it brings us back to this page and says our shelves are empty. So like, what happened to the product we just made? Well, we're in our Etsy store. We're not in our Printify store. So we clicked on this, click My New Store. So here's our product. What we're going to do is now move it into our newly connected Etsy store. So you just select it or any products you have here, go to More Actions, copy to Other Store. And it just tells us how long it could take. It's really only like 30 seconds, depending on how many you have. Click. Then you click Copy Products. So let's go over to our Etsy store. And here it is. Now it's still unpublished, which is what we want. We don't want this published because we want to see what it looks like in Etsy or Shopify, wherever we're going to put it. So the change stays before it's finalized in Etsy. What we do is click on it. And here's where we could upload our mockups. So it only took over the one, which for some reason it shouldn't have done this. It showed all of ours. Here's our title. This came over. Our description as well. Then we have our tags we could add. Use AI if you want to automatically generate them. And this will change your product title, your description, and your keywords. These are all the tags. You could get 13 of them. Use them all. If you want to enable personalization, you could do that or turn it off. I'm going to turn it off just for this. Here's the shipping methods you could offer. Here's a shipping profile you choose. That's from Etsy. Pricing, as I mentioned before, don't think too much about it, but this is the pricing it'll be. If you want to offer free standard shipping, I highly recommend doing that and just raising your prices when it comes to shipping. Etsy prioritizes in their search results shipping that's less than $6. However, according to this, these are all the excluded listings from that prioritization. So if you match this, one of these, you're fine and they won't deprioritize you. Here's some more information if you want to read about it. Okay, so right now I'm going to do hide in store because we don't want to show this right away. We want to see this, what this looks like before it's published to the public. For this one here, I always recommend using show in stock. The top one is you don't want to sell out of stock items. And also it says it's best for the SEO. So these are things that it's asking if you want to sync with them. I'd select them all and then click publish. As you can see, it changed from publish to hidden. So we go over to our Etsy store. And so now we're in Etsy store. We go to shop manager. And here it is. This is our listing. So you click on it. Here's everything we need. As you notice, our mockups didn't appear. This one means it's a movie. I highly recommend getting a moving image one. People love quick little movies nowadays, especially with TikTok and Instagram Reels. Here's a thumbnail. You can adjust it. So I recommend always zooming in and getting as close as possible. I'm going to have it zoomed in right here. This way people have an idea of what the teacher looks like. You want to really see the logo. It's most important. Here's again our description from Printify with the sizes. You could do personalization. I'm removing that. Price and inventory. Prices based on size. Here's estimated profit, quantities. This is all coming over from Printify. You have a primary color. You could choose one if you want. Once we get down to the details one, you're going to want to change these core details. And you want to make sure you have it as another person because we're not manufacturing the items. It is a finished product and it was made to order. And for a production partner, we're going to put Printify. And we could hide it. So the title, this will be public. We just put print shop. I design everything and the partner just produces it. For location, Monster Digital's in the United States. So city, state, county. I think they were in Miami. We could double check on what it was. Why are we working with them? I don't have the technical abilities. What is your role? I design everything. What are their role? They do everything for me. Hit save. Done. Apply. And there you go. So now we can move on to down in shipping. Again, this is all pre-filled out, but if we want to add more information, we can. We could preview how much it would cost. This is how much it would be total for the item. Returns and exchanges, if you want to offer them, you can. If you have a shop with different sections, you can add it to a section. If you want to make it your featured product, you can do that. If you have the top selling item in your shop, go ahead and make that your featured item or put on that. When it comes to renewal, all it does is on-echo do it every 4 months if you have it on autoback, and it's 20 cents per each time. If it's not selling well, or if you're not sure, you can leave it on manual. This way, before you get charged the 20 cents, and it keeps going. After 4 months, it ends. You could reevaluate what you want to do. So hit save and continue. So once you hit save and continue, it brings you to this page here, and the rest of the steps are Etsy only. They're pretty easy. It's a wizard. It just walks you through how to add your credit card, bank information, and your shop security. It's real easy, but since it's Etsy exclusive, I'm going to head back to Printify and walk you through more Printify. Now that our Etsy store is set up, I'm going to show you real quick how to do a Shopify one. This takes less than a minute, so just bear with me if you're not going to use Shopify. So you just go to my Etsy store at the top, click Add New Store, and instead of clicking Etsy, we're going to go Shopify. Go through the wizard. If you don't have a store, click this one. If you do have a store, you click this one. Here, pretend we don't have one. And you click Create Now. This creates your Shopify store. Once you get your stores all set up, you can get a URL, and you want to paste that URL here. So all you got to do is go to Settings in your Shopify account. Heard of dashboard, and in the upper left, it's right here. So you just copy that, paste it here, then you click Connect. That'll install the Printify app within Shopify. Think of Shopify as like an iPhone. It has all these different apps you can download and install. That's what you want to do with Printify. Printify is the app within Shopify. Once your store is connected, you go down here and click I've concluded my setup, and then you're all set. The main difference between Etsy and Shopify, everything you do is now going to be within Shopify instead of Printify. And it's the same thing as Etsy, where you want your keywords, your tags, and your photos. Excellent, top tier. So that's how you connect Shopify with Printify, the tongue twisters. Okay, so now that we have our store ready and our first product for sale, I want to make sure we don't run into any problems immediately with our customers. So say a product is out of stock with the manufacturer. What do you want to have happen? Well, if we go to store settings and then go to order settings, this is where we can enable order routing. What this does is it's used when items are out of stock with your supplier. Printify will reroute your order to a similar supplier with similar quality, etc., to get the order processed as soon as possible. But yeah, keep in mind, there could be an increase in production costs and shipping costs. So this is what this limit's here for. So you can limit to $2 additional per item. And these here are whether you want to be exactly the same or similar. Another thing to keep in mind is there also could be slight changes with the print in some cases. So the colors might not exactly be the same. So keep that in mind if you actually want to use order rerouting. It's up to you or not whether or not you trust Printify and their suppliers. You could say, no, do not do this. If it's out of stock, it's out of stock. That could look good to your customers, meaning you're a hot ticket item and people want your stuff, so it sells out a lot. Just real briefly, I want to touch on payments from Etsy and Shopify. If you use Etsy or Shopify, you're actually not getting paid by Printify. You're getting paid by Etsy or Shopify. I'd like to show you some quick tips about optimizing your workflow to save you a lot of time. I think a lot of people will enjoy this next segment. So let's go over to our products. And this is our product we already made, all right? But if we want to make something very similar, the fastest way to recreate it is just to go to the duplicates button. So we click duplicate and made a whole brand new one. So now we have two of the same. And this next one, we can change all the details of the colors we want, the variants, a lot faster than recreating this from scratch. If you want to take a similar design, etc., there's this button over here, the three ellipses, and click replace. And this allows you to take our design, our product titles, and descriptions from, say, a t-shirt and bring it over to a mug. So, what are the easiest way to optimize recreating or creating brand new products? But if we go back to our settings, I want to show you something here. You could also make your life a little bit easier as well. So on the shipping label, it's going to have the address of where the product was printed. So if you use Monster Digital, I believe that's in Miami, Florida. So if somebody wants to return something, they might send it right back to where the shipping label was from. You don't want that. So you could put your own custom address in here to send it to your house or wherever your place of business is. If you don't want them to have your personal home address, you can use a virtual address. I use one of those. They're very cheap, especially to running the business. And I have a video on how to do that. I'll also put a link in the description about virtual addresses. But it's a great way to keep your personal life separate from your business. Another thing is in the order settings, this is where we did the order routing, right? But also down below, the purpose of Printify Choice is to save you money, whereas order routing is to prevent any lost sales. So order rerouting will send the order to a different supplier if the original one's out of stock. Printify Choice will do it to save you money. So if they can find an exact match of the same product with a cheaper manufacturer, they'll go with that one for you automatically. So for order submissions, this is whether or not you want to approve every order. That's manual. Automatic within an hour, 24 hours, or a specific time. 24 hours by default. I recommend to leave it that way while you're getting started and adjusting to things. This way, if there's any mistakes by the customer, like say, oftentimes they want to change where they're sending it to, you could catch that and correct it beforehand. 1 hour is pretty quick, and then that one's good too, but that might be a little too cumbersome, especially if you get a lot of orders. For tracking, the first option is as soon as possible. That's great when you're first starting out because you probably won't be selling a whole bunch, unfortunately. But eventually you will get enough and you'll become burdened with all of the notifications. So you'd want to send that to a certain time of day. This way you can track them. If you don't want to track them at all, you could do this one. Delayed orders. This has to do when certain orders have issues with delays on manufacturing. This is mostly all about just getting a product to the customer as fast as possible. And lastly, do you really want to receive daily emails of all your orders? Of course you do, especially at first. But once you start selling a lot, your inbox will be filled up. You're not going to want to uncheck this eventually at the end. Printify Connect is a free add-on with Printify Premium. All it really is anytime a customer makes a purchase, Printify will send an email on your behalf automatically. It's unbranded, so they won't know it's from Printify, saying, how was your order? And this gives the customer a chance to get a replacement, a refund, all handled by Printify. So this is how you design and brand every insert that goes with your products. I highly recommend doing this because it creates a personal touch with your customers and it makes you look more professional. Gift messages are very similar. They're just like the ones with Amazon. Your customers can write a gift message to whoever they're buying the gift for. With every store, there's always something that comes up and some kind of hiccup, right? So having support is a very important thing, and Printify has your back, right? They have a 24-hour support. They have a knowledge base. They have videos on YouTube. They have videos like mine where people make their own, and they have a pretty good rating on Trustpilot. On Trustpilot, they have about 6,000 reviews and a 4.7 rating. That's pretty good. Let's say you do have an issue where there's a missing product that never arrived or a defective one. The good news is Printify will take care of replacing the item and shipping out to the customer free on your behalf. They will also issue refunds and reimburse you for not only the product, but also the shipping and taxes on the original sale. So Printify is willing to do all that, but how much are you going to charge us? Well, you can have 5 stores for free, but once you want more than that, you're going to have to pay $25 per month if you pay on their yearly plan. It's about 50% less per year. You also receive 20% discount on all products, which that adds up, and that's the most important part. So not only the branding inserts, which I recommend put on every product, they're 75 cents, you're saving on every shirt you're selling as well. It might be $1 or $2 per shirt. And that's key once you get to a volume rate of selling. Once you're first starting out and you don't have cash flow coming in, it's completely fine to be in the $0 per month one. But once you start selling a lot, I recommend highly going to the premium. Another major benefit is Printify Connect. This one I like a lot. If you have any customer service related issues, Printify will take care of that for you. This is only for Shopify and other standalone stores. It does not work for Etsy or eBay though. Printify PopUp already includes Printify Connect. In this last section of the video, I want to walk you through how to run an actual business with Printify. First up, I just want to show you there is a free Etsy calculator on Printify's website. I'll have the link down in the description below. But basically you want to say, this is what my selling price would be. This is how much it cost me to make it. And this is how much shipping is. And when you calculate it, it gives you the listing fee for Etsy, 20 cents, transaction fee of $1.30, processing fee, your total cost, it's $12.35. So of a $20 selling price, you should get back $7.65. But this doesn't include taxes. You gotta keep that in mind. These companies will never deduct your taxes for you. You have to do it yourself. Another tool I found is Profit Tree. This helps you run analytics on Etsy and Printify. They offer real-time tracking and financial insights. They automate your expenses, analyze trends, and optimize your shop's growth. So if you like this, you could pay them as well $6 or $20 a month. So more fees, more whatever. But if it helps you make more money, you got to spend more to make more. Sometimes that's the case. The lesson you want to have happen is your shop gets shut down or you get sued for trademark or copyright infringement. The US government has a website where you could search for things. So I used Christmas as an example. And on here, it'll show you every company that owns the word Christmas. Now, they don't own Christmas because obviously, look, there's so many of them, right? And as you can see, also some of them are dead. This one's alive. Okay, so this is frozen vegetables in the nature of chili. So that means somebody owns like a Christmas chili recipe or something. This company does. And the class is 029, which means I'm guessing food or frozen food. On the screen are 6 classes that I think most people are using Printify to sell items from. Use the government website to search these classes and filter based on the only live, not dead or abandoned products to find out if somebody owns something that you want to use in your words. So like I said, Christmas. This is also good to use when creating the name for your company. You don't want to have something somebody already has. Now, somebody could have something similar, but as I mentioned, that chili one, if they have the same name as you, but it's for frozen foods, as long as you have nothing to do with food or frozen food specifically, you're fine. I do want to clarify, I'm not a legal professional, I'm not a lawyer, the same legal advice, etc. I'm not going to do taxes as well, so I'm not an accountant, and I'm not giving you any kind of financial advice. But here are the basics of taxes I think everybody should know when starting a Printify store. First thing I know is getting rid of the fear and complications around taxes. Let's change them into something simple and maybe even something to look forward to. We probably won't, but we can try. The first way to do this is we want to change our Printify settings to make it so we only get our invoices month to month instead of per order. That'll make things easier for us at keeping track of them. They'll all be in one thing at the end of the month instead of being every single day, and we might lose them. So in your account, down at the bottom left, you can go to settings. And then right here, that's where you can change it, whether it's per order or monthly. I recommend monthly. I also recommend changing the notifications of product launches button. That's up to you. Then we want to make sure we're tax exempt. Yes, you are a reseller, so you should not be being taxed on any items you're purchasing from a manufacturer. So in order to do that, we go to Wallet, Taxes, and then depending on what country you're in, Canada, or all of these ones, or USA, you can create a resale certificate with your state. So if you go to Google or the Help Center of Printify and just type in resale certificate, this page here will help you get one and what you need to do to get that. I highly recommend getting one because you're going to save a lot of money on taxes with it. Down at the bottom, they have them grouped by certain states. So depending on what state you're on is what form you fill out. My third point is regarding how you'll actually be taxed. As a person by themselves, you're just going to simply be taxed like it's your normal gay job. Unless you go ahead and set up an LLC or some kind of business entity, all that money you're making is just like having a second job. I assure you, your taxes will not get complicated. Think of it as you selling stuff at a garage sale and you're just making some extra cash on the side and get your report to the government. They'll just tax you at your going rate, and most people it's about 22%. Think of Printify, Etsy, and Shopify as your employer, and the money you made from them was just a commission on a sale. You don't have an hourly or salary pay, and you're only paid based on how many sales you make. That's it. It's not really complicated. For your own peace of mind, just keep your paperwork organized, save and download all invoices and receipts, and you'll be just fine. To calm your nerves even more, many colleges offer free tax help, or you can even reach out to a senior accounting major on Facebook and ask them for some basic advice. Ask around, and I'm sure an aspiring accountant would love to help you out to gain some experience for them. It's good for their resume. It's a win-win. I do highly recommend talking to a licensed accountant once you sell $5,000 in gross revenue. Things starts changing at that amount for taxes. Regarding the EIN, you can get one when you're ready, but since it's free and takes about 10 minutes, I suggest doing it sooner rather than later. You won't need an LLC right away. I actually recommend not getting one right away. You won't need one until you're ready to protect your personal assets from anything related to the business. Eventually, I'll have a video about setting up an LLC on here, But for right now, just remember an LLC's main purpose is to create a wall between your personal assets and the business in case of any debts or lawsuit. That's it really. It has nothing to do with taxes. So you don't really need one until you want that wall. Either yourself or an accountant could help you feel out when the best time for that is. One thing you also can get right away, it's a business credit card. Getting a business credit card right away keeps your business transactions separate from your personal, which is key to eventually gain that LLC wall I mentioned. You do not need to formally create a business entity to get one, but you can use your own personal credit card if you want. Just keep in mind you're going to be charged every time somebody makes an order, so you want to get good reward points. This way you get some kind of cash back. And remember to always try to keep things simple the whole time you're in business. Keep your credit history positive. One of the last things you should do is get a business bank account. You do need an official business entity like an LLC, a business address, a virtual address will work, and an EIN to give one of those. My general advice for you when starting out is just to keep things simple and realize you're not locked into anything. Every single successful business has made mistakes, received bad reviews, and thought they were going to fail. Those things are not the end of the world, but it is up to you how you respond to them. Most customers don't leave reviews or even read them when buying. Just look at how many reviews a product on Amazon has compared to how many have sold that month. With that in mind, just start and go slow. Adapting is how all businesses survive. Go ahead and create your Printify account. Choose a manufacturer that has a high rating. Monster Digital and Swift POD are among the most popular. Then start selling. You're a smart person. You'll know when you need to change things. When you don't like how things are going, change them. Change your supplier or change from Printify to Printful. We are so fortunate today being able to completely change our business with just a click of the mouse. To sum this up, keep things simple and not overwhelm yourself. Otherwise, you'll burn out and quit prematurely. Sometimes, though, it's also okay to quit completely and just move on. Find what makes you happy and be fulfilled. The work can still be tough in that situation, but you won't dread doing it. That's Printify. Like this video if you got anything from it to help share the word and support my channel. Thank you for watching. Best of luck.